Hi, this is Chris from needlepointers.com, and this video will show you how to thread a Bernina L450 or L460 serger. Most sergers have a similar threading path, so even if you have another brand or model of serger, this tutorial may help you get yours threaded. If you would like to see a photo tutorial or download the manual for these machines, please visit the link in the description of this video. If you are looking for information on replacing and threading needles and an overview of this serger and its features, please view our previous video tutorial. Find links to these videos in the description below. I have an older Bernina serger from the 1980s, and that one threads almost the same as this. This new serger has one feature that makes it so much easier to thread. With my old serger, I would have to thread and rethread it multiple times until I could get it right. This lever here makes a huge difference in the ease of threading the serger. It makes the hardest part of the threading simple. For this tutorial, I will thread 4 different colors matching the color coding on the machine. The yellow is the left needle, the green is the right needle, the blue is the overlock upper looper, and the red is the overlock lower looper. When stitching with your overlocker, you would usually use matching threads. I will be showing you 2 ways to thread the serger. One is a quick way, but it doesn't always work for me. The second is how to fully thread your serger from scratch. Before threading, prepare to thread your machine by turning off your machine, raise your presser foot, and raise the needles to the top position. How do you tell when your needles are in the top position? On this serger, there's this needle position indicator window, and turn the hand wheel towards yourself until you see the red lines and the red straight line, and line the line that's on the front of the needle position window with the red mark on the hand wheel in the back. If you have an L460, the machine will automatically stop with the needle up. The first method I'm going to show you is cutting the threads off, tying the new threads on, and pulling them through. When I need to change the thread on my serger, I usually try this method first. Sometimes the threads will break, so then I'll have to finish threading manually. But if it works, it's a quick way to change threads. Start with your machine off, the presser foot raised, and the needles in the top position. Next, cut off the threads near the spool. Replace the thread on the spools with the new thread color. I am replacing with colors that match the guide colors, but you would normally use the same color thread on all 4 spools. Next, take the end of the thread and the end you cut and make a knot to tie them together. And do this for all 4 spools. I'm going to turn my machine on to turn on the light so that it will provide more light for this video. So next, pull the thread out just enough so that you can cut off the ends. And then, one by one, gently pull the thread through until you see the new color come through. When your needle threads get up to here, most likely they won't go through the needle. So just stop pulling there. You can see the red ones coming through here. And now that's through all the way. Now I have all 4 threads up and ready to test. Once you're done, close the lower looper cover and we want to test it. I'll put the presser foot back down, and I have a piece of test fabric here, just a piece of scrap fabric, and let's see how it works. And there I go. I have the yellow thread, the green thread, the dark blue, and thread. Okay, so now let's thread this machine by removing all 4 threads. On my machine, it has a threading guide printed on the inside of the looper cover. Refer to this guide to remind you of how to thread your machine. But it also comes with handy dots that show every step of the threading process, which makes it quite easy to thread. The manual also has a color-coded threading diagram at the end of the manual. One important thing to note is the numbers on each of these threads. It is very important to thread the machine in the order indicated by the numbers. So the first one to thread is the blue, the upper looper. Second is red, lower looper. Third is the green, right needle. And 4 is the yellow, left needle. We will start with the machine turned off, the presser foot raised, and the needles in the top position. If your retractable thread guide is down, be sure to lift it to its highest position. Place your thread spools on to their positions. This is a spool stabilizer. Here's one that's not on the machine. And the spool stabilizer is used with thread cones like these and helps hold them from vibrating. If you have a large cone, the spool stabilizer is placed with the wide section facing up. If you have a small cone, you can turn it over and have it facing down and slide it on there. If you're using a regular thread spool, you can use one of the spool caps to hold it in place. If you're using polyester or bulky nylon threads, you may want to use a thread net over top of the spool to help it feed properly. Following the diagram, I will start with threading the upper looper blue thread. Place the thread through the retractable thread guide that's above the spool. The thread should go from the back to the front. Next, I will place it through the thread pretension hook. Slide it over and under using 2 hands. There is a pretension hook for each color, and the color thread is indicated next to each pretension hook. So I'm not going to show you these again in the threading of the rest of the threads, but when I talk about threading through the pretension hook, this is what I'm talking about. Next, take the thread through the tension knob, always remembering you're following the dots with the same color that you're threading. So I'm doing the blue thread. So next I will come through this blue dot and this hook here. And then here, there are 2 hooks, one and 2, with blue dots. There's also red dots, so both blue and red threads go through this section. Actually, I'm going to turn on the light so you can see better again. The next spot the blue thread goes is through this hook here, and this hook does have a little bit of a blue mark on it. Finally, thread through the hole at the end of the upper looper. To make it easier to thread through that hole and through the needles and stuff, you can use the tweezers that are included in your looper cover with the machine and place it underneath the presser foot. I won't show the first 3 steps close up for the remaining threads. They are threaded the same as the blue thread. Just go through the position for the thread color you are threading. So next I'm starting with the red thread, and I put it through the retractable thread guide above the spool, and then it went through the pretension hook, and now I am putting it through the tension. So once you get down here, there's a red dot here above this hook. So we hook it through that one. Then there's red dots and blue dots on these 2. So that means that the red thread also goes through those same 2 positions. Next, there is a red dot here, and I hook it in that. Push down on this lever, and this is what makes this machine a lot easier to thread. This brings a hook forwards, and I hook it onto that hook. So the next step is to put it through the hole in this lower looper here. There's a little hole on the end, and I stick it through there, and I can use my tweezers to pull it through. Next, the red thread is passed over the upper looper here and then underneath the presser foot. So I hope you can see here that it's going through the lower looper, and then the red thread goes over the top of the upper looper. And the blue thread is going through this hook and then in front of the upper looper and through the hole. And then both are under the presser foot. Next will be the green thread, and this is the right side needle. I will take it up and over the retractable thread guide above the thread, place it through the pre-tension hook that's marked with the green dot, and then down through the tension hoops that's marked with the green. It will hook around behind this hook here, and then pull it across and go underneath this hook up to where the green dot is. So I'll put it through the green section. So after it's on the lower take-up lever loop, then I'm going to follow through the right side of this hook and this hook. So I hook it in there and hook it in there on the right side because I'm doing the right side needle. And then I can thread the needle. So now it's through the needle and I place it underneath the presser foot. Now we have one more needle to thread. If you're only stitching a 3-thread overlock or another stitch with only 3 threads, you may not need to thread the left needle. Always remember you need to remove the needle and lightly tighten the screw if you are not threading the needle. So don't leave your needle in the machine if you're not putting a thread through it. It will cause the stitches to be malformed. So I'm going to take the yellow thread and put it through the retractable thread guide above the yellow thread, then put it through the pre-tension hook marked with the yellow dot, run it through the tension discs. Now I'll run it around this hook, then around and up, and take it over the take-up lever slot marked with the yellow dot. This time I'm going to go through the left side of this thread guide and this thread guide, and then through the needle. And then finally, I'll put it underneath the presser foot. Once all threads are threaded, close the looper cover, lower the presser foot, and turn on the machine. Test sewing on with a scrap piece of fabric to make sure everything is threaded properly. And there's a nicely threaded machine again, and it's sewing correctly. I have the yellow thread, the green thread, the dark blue, and the red thread on the back. Finally, just a quick overview of the knobs. On the right side of the machine is the hand wheel, stitch length dial, and differential dial. On the front of the machine is the cutting width dial, the micro thread control lever, and the rolled hem selection lever. The knife is also right under here behind the knife guard. If you need to disengage the knife, the lever is under the sewing table cover here. So you can push and turn this lever and you can see the knife moves out of place. And then if you want to put it back, you push it, turn it back up, and the knife will slip back in place. If you would like to learn how to sew inside and outside corners and how to secure your seams with your serger, visit the link in the description of this video to find our other tutorials. I hope you enjoyed learning how to thread your Bernina L450 or L460 serger. Like and share our videos, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to our channel so you won't miss future videos. Help us spread our videos by sharing them with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Visit our website, needlepointers.com, for lots of other serger tutorials and free projects. While you're there, sign up for our free weekly newsletter so you won't miss new tutorials. Happy serging!